Hey guys, Delphine here. So I came home for the summer and the axolotl tank is completely green, as you can clearly see here. Um, the water isn't like viscous or anything, it's just full of algae, just, floating around with all the water particles. Because even the water that I pull out of here is, it's green, as you can see. So, I have no idea why this happened. It might be because this is the new tank. There might have been something with it getting set up that maybe the levels or whatever of the different nitrogen compounds might be weird. So I'm basically, I've been Googling a lot trying to figure out if different kinds of chemical algae killers are safe for axolotls since they are very sensitive to different chemicals. I couldn't find anything concrete. So basically, I have these guys in the bathroom here in little tubs of water. It's mostly new, clean water. And then there's a little bit of the algae water in there just because when I had to scoop them up out of the tank, I couldn't completely drain all the tank water with them. They're chilling here. Let me get a light on here. So it looks like food-wise, it hasn't really affected their appetite. They're still looking pretty good size-wise. They could use a good meal, but they're not like emaciated or anything. Their gills seem to be the most affected. So as you can see, they're very short. Oh, it's hard to focus here, but they don't have a lot of branching going on either. So I don't know. It's probably on account of the water quality. So I'm definitely going to make sure to do frequent changes after I fix this algae problem. Yeah, but they're doing good. John, who we weren't sure if he was eating, has been eating. He's just very quick about it. I saw him come out of the cave, grab an entire cube of bloodworms to himself, and then disappear back into his cave. So, as you can see by his tummy, he's been eaten. Same with Raegar. Like I said, only thing that seems affected is their gills here. So I'm going to go ahead and pretty much empty this tank. Since the axolotls aren't fish, it's not really going to affect them too much if I completely change this out, water-wise. And so hopefully, I don't know if you guys know any, safe home remedies for taking care of algae problems, but hopefully just, cleaning the tank really well, getting the nitrates down will help get this under control. So that's what I'm going to do here, and then we'll check back in and see how it's going. Alright, so I started removing the water, and I got the idea to kind of stir up the substrate, because I know a lot of uneaten food kind of ends up in here. Yeah, you can see all that isn't from the sand, that's like broken down uneaten food. That's just grossness that needs to come out of the tank. So I'm just going to go through and kind of stir up the substrate a little bit while I'm taking the water out. That way it's kind of a 2-for-1. I'm not only taking out all the, algae infested water, but hopefully I can, get the tank a little bit cleaner here too, by getting all of this gunk up in the water that I'm taking out. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. There's my hand and my tripod, because this is very hard to film since it's a very opaque tank right now. I'm essentially just stirring everything up here. I know my little brother, who's been taking care of the axolotls, hasn't been able to really do like tank cleaning with them much more than just refilling the water when it gets low. So I know that this tank really needs a good clean, and I'm definitely going to make sure to keep up with it over the summer. And then hopefully, we're pretty sure at this point that these guys are going to be able to come with me and my roommate to our apartment. So obviously I'll be able to take care of them a lot better when they're with me permanently. So, but for now we're just going to try and fix this tank. So I'm going to keep stirring it up, and then I'll come back once it is empty. Alright, so we got a couple more buckets out of here. I'm starting to get most of the water out. I found a lot of slime algae. At least that's what I call it. It's the algae that kind of grows like a big slime ball. It really gnarls itself in all the plants and stuff, and a lot of times it grows into just a huge ball in the center. It's really slimy in the tank, but once you get it out of the tank, it's not so hard to deal with. So I went and fetched the vacuum hose. So starting to get too low to use the pitcher, so I'm going to use the vacuum hose to get the last of this water out of here. And then we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so while I've got the hose draining here, I got some food for these guys. I wanted to see if they would go for it. So I know they probably haven't eaten in like 2 days now. So, they're probably hungry. And a lot of times though, when I do take them out of the tank like this, they don't like to eat, so we'll see what's up. Is John gonna go for it? Let's see here. He's sniffing it. Doesn't seem too interested. Let's see. There we go. Raegar's eating some. He's really good about associating the tweezers with food. So he'll even just try to eat the tweezers if you have those in the tank. So we'll see if he keeps that down. Let's try again with John. He seems to be, sniffing around by it. We'll see. He's really good about eating out of the jar. So he's a little bit harder to convince. Yeah, he's not a huge fan. Also, Raegar's gills, at least these top two, are really curled. And I know that can be a sign of a lot of water movement, like a lot of current. But John's are not like that. John's have always been a little wonky, but his aren't curled whatsoever. Alright, so let's remove the food that they haven't eaten here. Putting it in a jar for later. We'll see if John gets more interested there. Hey, easy. I know. Do you want some? There you go. Like I said, he's really good with tweezers and receiving food from them. He doesn't always keep the food, but if you put those tweezers by him, he'll eat anything off of them. And look, John's eating now. That's good. Excuse me, Raegar. Let's see how much food is left down here, bud. Drop some. He's not too interested in this anymore. Yeah, you can see his gills really good there, how they curl. These top two especially. I also feel like you can control that a little bit because from different angles it looks more intense, and from other angles it doesn't look so bad at all, and so I don't know what's up with that. He's done with that. Alright, let's get as much as we can out of here for John. He's got some sand in here because he was a little... I was worried the most about getting him out of the tank because he has a tendency to hide in the caves. And I can't get up inside the caves with my hands or with any cups or anything like that. So I had to catch him while he was outside. He was poking around in the food jar, seeing if there's any food, which is most of the reason I decided to feed them. Usually I wouldn't feed them in here just because it's a small container of water, and having uneaten food in there is a surefire way to get it, really ruin the water quality really fast, which, of course, if you guys have been watching any of my videos or listening to the beginning of this one, I guess, water quality is super important for axolotls. I don't actually remember if I mentioned that yet. Alright, so it looks like we got the majority of it out there. I'm going to go ahead and replace a little bit of their water just with some new fresh water, just to make sure they're good, and then I'm going to work on the tank some more. Alright, they got some new clean water in there with them. Of course I used a dechlorinator. A lot of people have been leaving a lot of comments thinking that I use straight up tap water, not just for like these guys, but for hermit crabs or my dart frogs. I always dechlorinate the water, or in some special cases, like for my dart frogs, sometimes I buy reverse osmosis water for them specifically, but most of the time I just use the dechlorinator. But I never use straight tap water, just throwing that out there. Alright, so we got the tank pretty much completely drained here. There's a couple pockets of water left, but other than that, nothing. So I'm gonna, clean out the sides. It's really stinky, like not like super awful, just kind of fishy. I think a lot of that's the algae, and also all the stuff that I kicked up out of the sand. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this down, and then we're gonna start refilling it with some new water. Alright, so I scrubbed down all the different sides of the tank. I'm trying to wipe them off, get them nice and clean before I refill the tank. And now I'm working with the filter over here. This is an eternal filter, and it has a nozzle like this, like an extender. It's really gross right now, but basically it allows me to separate the water flow so it doesn't come out of one spot really concentrated. I can have it, travel a length and come out a little more gently that way. So this is a model for 20 gallons, which is the tank size I have. The previous one is the exact same brand and everything, just for the 10 gallon. So we have a sponge media in here. This is where we get most of our water flow from these vents. And here we have a charcoal filter, and I actually remove the charcoal from it and fill it with a monocarb, which helps keep the water even cleaner. And then this is the motor, and also where the water outputs. So I'm basically just going to take this apart here and deep clean everything as best I can and then put it back in the tank, and then we'll start refilling. Alright, so we refilled the tank. We got the filter cleaned out. There's still a lot of crap and sediment in there, but we'll let this run for a little while. Hopefully it clears up, and then we'll just hit it with weekly cleans to keep the water quality nice. So yeah.